The Kabbalah and the I Ching are two of the most universal symbolic systems on the planet today. The I Ching, symbolic system of the Far East, is both a philosophical system and a method of divination that has influenced China's two principal religions, Taoism and Confucianism. The I Ching is based on the system of the Great Tao or Great Tai Chi, Yin female and Yang male. According to Chinese belief, every event and thing in the universe arises from the interaction of these two principles. Like the Kabbalah, the I Ching is a cosmological system that contains an underlying mathematical structure. As a symbolic system, the I Ching reveals the underlying harmonic pattern, an eightfold pattern that creates 64 8 times 8 hexagrams, each of which is made up of 6 lines that can be in any combination of either broken yin or unbroken yang. In the Tai Chi Chuan symbol of the yin and yang, there are 2 sides, each with a little dot that shows that in each side there is always a tincture of the opposite. The permutation of the yin and yang lines create the 4 code letters Young Yang, Old Yang, Young Yin, and Old Yin. These are the same as the 4 amino acid letters written with the same binary language. When a 3rd line is added, the Yin and Yang combine to create 3-line trigrams in 8 possible permutations. Combined with each other, the 8 trigrams further combine to create 64 6-line structure hexagrams. At this level, we see that the I Ching is the expression of the unfolding of the universe binary mathematics. This is the exact dynamic that produces life, and hence the 64 codons of the DNA are exactly the same when written in the same yin-yang code language. The system of the I Ching demonstrates that our actual biological and psychological nature is written in a mathematical language, that of our DNA. This underlying template can be likened to the template of the God particle with its 288 square mass value and its 13 times 216 energy value, where a priori mathematical codes provide the templates of the primary structure of phenomenal reality. The I Ching also utilizes the 5 Chinese elements: wind, wood, water, fire, and earth. These combine to create an intrinsic symbolism that still pervades modern Chinese society and is also prevalent in the West. Up until the 1960s, only a few translations of the I Ching had been available. Perhaps the most complete translation is that of Richard Wilhelm, which became quite popular in the 1960s. Wilhelm provided 2 general renditions of the I Ching. The first gives extended psychological interpretational meaning, and the second gives structure and meaning, as well as including the wings and appendices written primarily by Confucius. Since Wilhelm's translation and the explosion of pop occult culture after the 1960s, there have been countless other translations. Carl Jung provided a foreword to the Wilhelm Baines edition, which gives it a further sense of authority. It is clear that Wilhelm had a broad cultural background and keen sense of archetypal symbolism. Jung offers the following explanation of how the I Ching works. Whoever invented the I Ching was convinced that the hexagram worked out in a certain moment coincided with the latter in quality no less than in time. To him, the hexagram was the exponent of the moment in which it was cast, even more so than the hours of the clock or the divisions of the calendar could be, inasmuch as the hexagram was understood to be an indicator of the essential situation prevailing in the moment of its origin. Any symbolic system that is based on pristine mathematical or geometrical structures is universal. These systems form a grid that existed before creation, and in fact, actually demonstrate the process of creation. To recapitulate, there is first number, then geometry, then symbolic structure of the world of image, and finally the world of appearance. Again, we must keep in mind that most symbolic structures that evolved through history, such as astrology, are spatially oriented. The structure of astrology is based on the geometrical figures of 12. This is a static number, while the ever-shifting pattern of planets is dynamic 13, time-oriented. The Kabbalah is also a static figure in space, as are the 8 I Ching trigrams. The entire phenomenal world is created from a certain number of patterns. This discovery traces back to Pythagoras and his realization that there are only 5 geometrical solids: the tetrahedron, the cube, the octahedron, the icosahedron, and the dodecahedron. Even the post-impressionist painter Paul Cézanne said all of nature consists of a primary cube, triangle, and sphere. You can see pyramids within the mountains and triangular forms in the trees. All the world of appearance constitutes the great symbol underlain by geometry and number. In the final stage of the process of symbolical evolution, the humans finally recognized the meaning beneath the surface of symbol. This reality is part of the system of correspondences and is a reflection of a higher reality that says, as above, so below. Once again, all of this reality is just a symbol of a higher reality that returns us to the matrix of number, where we may begin to reassess the totality of what is. Through contemplation of symbolic structures, we can penetrate the world of veiled awareness and enter into higher planes of reality. When you introduce the law of time, it is a whole other order of symbolic structure called synchronic order. Within the matrix of cosmic history lies the great re-evaluation and reordering of all human systems of thought as manifestations of universal time and synchronic order. In the new time, successive stages of life each have an appropriate body of knowledge. These bodies of knowledge, according to the world age, are maintained in a hermetic vessel through different sets of symbolic structures. Whether these are traditional systems or not, by its purpose and method, cosmic history places them in a larger context of the synchronic order. In this way, meaning is renewed and symbolic value is expanded into a whole system of cosmic order that reaches into the infinite harmony of universal unification.